Attendance at one of the most influential tech conferences, the Consumer and Electronics Show in Las Vegas, was down about 75% due to COVID, but that didn't stop the world's major companies from debuting their latest and greatest ideas and inventions we may be able to buy in the near future. Tech expert Trevor Long flew over there for the ride and he joins us from the US right now. How are you going, Trevor? Is the CES show wrapped up now?
Yeah, mate, they actually cancelled the last day, just about 4 days out from it opening. They cut it from 3.5 days down to just 3. So, you know, attendance was down, exhibitors were down, so I think it was the right move. It's all wrapped up and we're moving on.
And they cut it down because of the attendance or because of fears over COVID spread?
I think they knew full well that attendance was down, that exhibitor numbers were down, and therefore the stuff that I would normally take 3.5 days to do, to see, to walk around, we were able to do in 2.5 because there was less stuff. So I think it was the right move purely based on the amount of stuff that was there. If it was a COVID thing, they would have cancelled the whole thing because there was plenty of people there on day one.
There was some really interesting stuff there, despite the dramas that we had this year, including that TV remote that charges from a Wi-Fi signal. Did you end up seeing that?
No, I didn't. Samsung didn't have that on their booth. And I think, again, this is a smart kind of COVID thing. A TV remote's something that everyone's grabbing and touching. So there was not a lot of touching and feeling of products and gadgets, but it was very well explained. And this time last year, Samsung announced a remote control that on the back has solar panels. So you don't have to take it outside, just sit it upside down in your lounge room and it will get energy from the ceiling lights in your home. But this one also takes energy, just small amounts of energy from the Wi-Fi signals through your home. And that means that, you know, there's less time for it to go flat and there's no need to plug it into the wall and get power from the grid. So it's a very small environmental impact, but it's a good one.
Being Samsung though, do you reckon that that's where phones are going? Is that they'll have these really hypersensitive antennas that will be able to get small amounts of charge when you're just walking through a Wi-Fi signal?
Kenny, you know what I'd do? I'd compare it to the solar panel electric cars. So I've seen this before and I did see one. I saw one from Turkey called TOG, an electric car, and it had these small solar panels across the roof. Great, good. But you're going to get in one day, you're probably going to get 10, maybe 20, maybe more kilometres of charge out of it. You're never going to get an actual charge, you know, that's going to get you on a trip. So I think if there was this kind of technology in smartphones, it might give you 1% a day. Because you think about it, a TV remote doesn't use much electricity at all. So this could easily be a situation where you never need to charge the remote plugging it into a wall because it uses such small power and it absorbs that power through the air and the sun and the light.
Well, speaking of electric cars, a real show stealer was that BMW that can change colour.
Yeah. If anyone's used a Kindle or a Kobo ebook reader, you'll know that the page is white and the letters are black, and when you press a button, it kind of fizzes away and then becomes clear again on the next page. It's called e-ink. They've essentially taken e-ink and wrapped a car in it, and every single portion, all these little tiny triangles of space across the car are essentially electrically charged. So through an app or through the dash, you'll be able to say, I want this part of the car to be black and this part to be white. So you could be driving down the street in a white car and then press a button and suddenly the car is a very dark grey. It looked phenomenal, it really did. Really one of those things that's done purely to get our attention and to get us into the booth and looking at other things that BMW are doing. But an absolute show stealer. It was very well done.
Imagine getting a scratch on that car though. You'd be pretty disappointed.
Oh, I looked up really close. It didn't look in good condition around the edges either. So it was very much a prototype.
Hey, lastly, we usually see at the CES show robots? Were there any robots there this year?
Oh, plenty of robots. But I think the thing about it is, I've been going to this show for 10 or 12 years and there's always been robots of some sort, but they're actually getting useful and purposeful now. So I saw one that was all about, room service, and that's, come up the hall and essentially ring the doorbell and present you your food. I saw a barista robot, one that would either mix a coffee or mix drinks at a bar. I saw a massage robot, actually got a massage from it. So, no physical human hands required. It's just, all the massage devices. There's plenty of robots. And I think we're at a point now where it's essentially a case of, what do you want a robot to do? And there are companies who can do that now. And really it's about now creating that acceptance among us as human beings that we want robots doing certain tasks in our lives. So whether it was physical robots doing things or the robotics of sensors and technology that's going to be in autonomous cars, plenty of robotic talk at CES 2022.